Hey, what's up, everybody? Rocky Harpins here with the Speed Sport. Kind of wanted to do something special. Wanted to go through and kind of show you guys some of the setup process and everything like that, especially for new people on iRacing, to go through and learn the setup process, how that works, how to get started, everything of that nature. Kind of flying off the cuff, so please bear with me. Probably a lot of ums and ahs and stuff like that. Oh, love that on a good episode, good YouTube episode. So, gonna jump right in, kind of talk about the process, getting started, maybe run through the garage. We're gonna be building a truck setup for North Wilkesboro. So, I kind of want to make this a recurring thing weekly. Kind of build up some skills, show you guys what the process is on truck setup. I know it's so easy to jump out there for one of those, vendors out there that sell setups. It's simple. It's time consuming to build a setup, but I think it actually drives your skill set to learn to run laps, to practice, to figure out what different things need to be done to make that car handle. Plus, the open racing is so much better than fixed racing half the time, especially with the truck that's built for your needs. So we'll kind of talk about some of that stuff as we go along. I'm going to do a quick tutorial, kind of run through the garage, talk about things. On Sunday, I'll try to do a live. I may just record it. We'll see what happens, but kind of run through the setup process. We got stream chat from our last stream up there, so enjoy that and everything. So let's kind of run through a few things. First things first. So we're building for COpen next week. We are in 2020 season 2. Well, COpen, it runs for the full year. So it's going to be more than just season 2. Let's get in, take a look at things. So first things first, what I do usually is pull up the schedule, kind of look at what the temps and everything like that are going to be. One cool thing with the UI, let's get this to where it completely fits in the screen. You guys can kind of see what's happening here. Let's close that bad boy. Alright, so what I do to get started with the UI, you go to Go Racing, go to Current Series. Go down here, pick out which one you want. You can actually build your test session through here, so we're going to click on COpen, jump on the schedule. We're going to go through, and right there, that's what we're building for. It's April 20th, 2021. Of course, as often as they update these vehicles and stuff like that, this thing will be obsolete in a few weeks. But what we're actually going to do is try to do this weekly, do a quick build on Sundays, most likely, kind of run through things. I'll show you what to do, how to tweak on it. The setup I build, I'll post on the Discord, but I will throw this disclaimer. It's not going to be built for you. That's not what this is. It's not for a free setup. It's for learning how to tweak on these things to make it more impactful for you. What are my credentials in this? I mean, I'm only a 2900 iRating driver. It's not very high, but I do build setups for myself and for a group. Those guys have won some Road to Pro races. We've won several COpen races. I finished top 11th overall last season. COpen, not at the upper echelons, but a decent finish. This season has been a little rough. Haven't had a ton of time to race it. So, am I an expert at? No. But it's a learning experience, and I want to help you guys out as much as possible. And if you have tips, hints, tricks, or something like to throw back at me, share amongst the community, that's great. If you are interested in joining community, we do league races and stuff like that. Go to www.espeedsport.com. It's a great resource. We got some setup stuff out there. That's where I'll post a weekly setup and everything like that to go along with these videos, so you guys can kind of play around and work through that and everything like that. So, but let's jump in here. So this is where I start out as far as setup building. Now we're not going to do any actual setup building here. We're just going to kind of use this as an overview of the garage and kind of talk about some of the components of the truck as we kind of build through it. going forward. None of this, I don't have a script or anything like this, so this is off the top of my head. One cool thing, if you do that test drive through the schedule on the UI, it throws you exactly into the room you need to be able to have the temps and everything like that. That's one of the things that you want to grab right off the bat once you get in there is the temperatures, track temperature. It's not going to be the same every race. It's going to be dynamic, but it's going to be good enough as a start. You can tweak little things, air pressures, track bars and stuff like that to fix some of that weather stuff and everything like that as you go forward. So should be set up. I know I'm going to leave it as dynamic. A lot of people do things like build their setups at 100%, but these races aren't really that long to compare. And from what I've seen, they really start at a low percentage. So that's kind of what I start to build at. As the truck, that rubber builds up and everything like that, maybe heat generates. That's where I'm making an in-race adjustment with air pressures and stuff. So I'm actually just going to build off of this and go for it from there. We'll get this set up, get loaded in. And for time, you're out there, talks amongst yourselves. A peanut is neither a pea nor a nut. Think about it. Oh. Coffee talk. SNL. Old references, guys. Sorry, I'm old. My references date to like mid-90s. Gotta love it. So, get logged in. Is the UI slow or what? Man. I know they're going for like this video game thing, but yeah. Get them speeds. Get them load speeds. One in. One in now. North Wilkesboro. Interesting track. Dead, dormant, maybe coming back? I don't know. Old Marcus Smith was throwing out some big hints. This track might be coming back soon, so that'll be awesome. All right, so we're jumping in here. Let's. I'm gonna throw up a screen because I don't want you guys to see my current setups. I'll load the iRacing setup in here. Let's see. No, I don't need. All right. All right, so what for this project starting off, we are gonna be going with, let's go, I like that one. That way you can see my lovely mug. Know you like it. Let's start out. We're gonna be going with the North Wilkesboro Open setup as our start. We'll do some work on Sunday because I want to show kind of a comparison between one of the reputed, is that the right word? Reputable? Reputable. Might have been a Freudian slip there. Freudian slip. Reputable. Paid services. We'll run some laps. That'll be kind of our target point to try and build above that. So try to have something a little faster than one of those other setup shops. I'm not going to say who it's going to be or anything like that, but it's what we're going to start. But we're going to talk about some starting out things. Good to know. We'll keep that setup in. That's the North Wilkesboro iRacing Open setup. It's a good starting point. I always, for the most start with iRacing setups. iRacing actually had a recent shift with their setup building, including these open setups, which I think are nowhere close to being there, but great starting points with the way I build up setups and everything like that. Let's take a look. Always, some of the first steps that I take a look at is track temperature, 100 degrees, 80 degrees as far as ambient temperatures, 40% moderate usage. So get some rubber on the track. That is good conditions to build. Let's talk about some garage components. Your air pressures are a huge thing starting out. Trying to get those set. Some of the tips and hints I can offer starting out at minimum right side temperatures, which looks like you got a little bit of play. We may not go all the way down to the minimum, which is 22, but we might play with that when we go to this Sunday. Oftentimes I do end up starting out at the minimum temperatures or air pressures and then working your way there. As we go through here, when we're running laps, trying to diagnose what the truck, not only the feel of the truck as we're turning laps, what's it doing? Is it too loose, too tight? Are we having problems here? This is my little turning the wheel. Okay, anyways. We'll be able to kind of diagnose things looking at our last hot pressures, our tire temps, tread remaining. Those are your number one indicator of identifying what conditions. Do you have a balanced setup? Do you have an imbalanced setup? Do you have too much weight to the front, to the rear? Is your cross weight a little too high? You know, those are the things that we're going to be looking at when we go to setup build on Sunday to diagnose what the issues are with the setup, and we'll kind of talk about that as we go along. Let's talk about some things in the garage that are very, very important to know. Some of the things that I started out with. Your number one, what you want to do when you jump in to build a setup is first figure out if the gear is correct. You want to be able to be maxing out on horsepower and torque. Torque is what's gonna win you races. Horsepower is just a flashy number, so you want that torque to drive you through the straightaway into the corners. Here at a short track is very important, especially getting out of the corner, getting up to your max miles per hour before you hit that turn. So figure out your gear ratio is one of the number one things that you want to do. On top of that, you want to go ahead and figure out your tape. You want to run the maximum amount of tape that you can with the water temperatures that are there. So those are a couple of the first things you want to take a look at if you have like a step-to-step thing to do. If I was a really good person at doing these type of videos, I would have a little thing here that would flash up that say step 1, step 2, step 3. You don't get that with me. Take notes. Let's see some other things that are going to be important to take a look at as we kind of build these setups. I'll kind of explain things. Once you're getting things like that figured out, it's going to be tire pressures. So, you know, that's a good next step to go to. You want those things as low as possible to maximize grip, but you don't want too low where it's costing you speed. So that's going to be another step that we're going to be taking here on Sunday when we do the actual setup build. A lot of stuff that really affects how you personally like to drive the car. Your steering ratios, your steering offsets, get those set. Your brake biases, you know, get those set to how you feel comfortable in. Do you like a car a little bit loose going in? So you want that brake bias set where it's going to the rear tires more versus the front. Those type of things. Those are all kind of driver preference. Get those set up how you want. From there, you're going to look at things like the front, you know, the ride heights. You want this thing as, you know, low to the ground as possible without scraping. We'll kind of talk about some strategies you can tell to see if, you know, if you're not one of those that are too sharp with using telemetry like Motec or anything like that. Which, you know, if you are, I have some great resources on the Discord, or hit me up. I can point you in the right direction. I know some other Discords or websites and stuff like that that can get you set up over there. Otherwise, you know, you can get away with it and do rather well without telemetry. I ran all last year without doing it. I've gotten more into it this year, and it's helped out a ton, but those are all things that you can do. So yeah, ride heights, those are important. We're going to work on cambers, casters, toes, kind of getting some ideas, give you guys some rough ideas of what to use as far as those things go, how they interact with each other. Let's see. Front ARBs, very important. We'll kind of touch on that as far as, you know, how much roll you should have as far as the truck itself. You know, that's going to be important. One thing that we want to get to is the front splitter on the truck as even throughout the corner as possible to maximize that front downforce. If you have it up in one corner versus the other, you know, you're going to be creating drag, and drag's not going to be good. Here at a short track, not as important, but we'll still try to get that evened out. And a good way to do that is using the front ARB. Those affect things. On top of that, we'll sort out our spring deflections here, which are very important for the truck itself, because with that, these trucks are coil bind. So if you have a coil and you squeeze it all the way, that's no longer a 300-pound spring. That's an infinite pound spring. So we'll kind of talk about those things, how we get this thing to coil bind to set that front end so it rolls through the corner. Some other important things. What do we talk about? You know, cambers, making sure to get those set right where you're not overheating that right front and you're now too tight and everything. So all those good things, figuring out your springs, all those things. These are all stuff that I want to go over in our set of builds on a weekly basis and kind of touch on these things. So it's going to be exciting. We'll get started on this. This is kind of the first video, kind of looking around, poking around at this truck, and there'll be much more to come in the near future. I will try to be a little more coordinated as far as what we talk about and get set up, but we'll look at doing maybe a live on Twitch. Give me a follow. That's twitch.tv/espeedsport. We will get started with a setup build on Sunday at North Wilkesboro. Going to be super exciting. I'm pumped about it. But yeah, we'll do that Sunday morning. Have a little coffee and setup building. Maybe could be fun. Not gonna sell you hard on it. But yeah, that is it for this video, I believe. If you're interested in more, we run a league. Go to www.espeedsport.com. If I was anywhere a professional, I would throw it up here on the screen, but it'll be in the show notes. Join the Discord. Got a good community out there. Got some setup resources. I'll be posting the setups we build over there for everybody to kind of modify and build off of. And hell, I mean, use the iRacing setup and kind of follow along with this. It's a great learning opportunity. But yeah, so check us out over there. Give us a follow, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But otherwise, we'll see you on Sunday. Take care now.